When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite, looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Warning, creators of this game do understand the subject matter may be offensive to some, but they do honor the families and people that have been affected by these real-life tragedies that these individuals have caused. Want to play a game?
Oh, yeah!
Lover of true crime?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we got an interesting game for you to check out.
Wow.
With the mashup of influences such as horror movies, collecting cards, and RPGs.
What?
Led to giving birth to an incredible creation of this game, Killers, the card game.
You are all my children now.
This game is a collectible trading card game featuring some of the most infamous killers, with tidbits of trivia on the back of each card to help you learn some insight to each criminal.
Who the hell are you?
Let's not forget, during the game, cops will be chasing you and these criminals.
I'm a cop, you idiot!
However, check out their website listed through all social media today, which can be found under Killers, the card game.
Am I on the internet?
I want to play a game.
Hi, I'm Christine Solomon, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this next guest has been exhibited, showcased, and displayed to millions,
Literally millions.
and millions of viewers in all over the world on major television networks and movie studios such as HBO Canada, the Movie Network, Rotana Group, which is the Arab world's largest entertainment company, owned by the Saudi Prince Al Waleed bin Tabit. My apologies for the mispronunciation, as well as different print, online, and other advertising mediums. She has a new book out called Wishing Upon a New Moon. Let's welcome our guest, Christine Solomon. How you doing?
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So, first and foremost, the new book, how has it been going? How's it been received? All that fun stuff.
We just launched it not long ago, and it's been getting really great reviews. People are enjoying it. I've been getting a lot of selfies from different people buying it, and it's just very exciting to me. And we have an upcoming event at Barnes& and Noble The Grove this Saturday, July 29th at 2 p.m., where I'm going to be reading and signing my new book, Wishing Upon a New Moon. If anybody's listening to us right now and they are going to LA or happen to be in Los Angeles, I would love to meet you.
Absolutely. So why this story? What was it about putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard in some cases and putting this book together? And what can you say without spoiling everything?
I mean, I initially got the idea while I was heading towards my car at night. I would love to take evening walks. And I saw the moon. It was so huge. It was so beautiful. And I started talking to it. I was like, my gosh, you're so beautiful tonight. And then the idea just came to me. I was like, wouldn't it be fun if there was a little girl that was talking to the moon and there's a story about it? And I came home, I started to think about it, and I started writing the story. And the story is about a little girl named Pepper. I named her Pepper because she has sort of like, she's like a hot pepper when she gets angry. And she's obsessed with perfectionism and control when it comes to her work. Pepper loves to work alone and isn't really a good team player. Her action causes, like friction with when she's paired with, for the first time, with her best friend Bremner, and Pepper has to face the consequences. So because of this incident that happens, it forces her basically to work on herself and better herself. I think that when something traumatic happens to us in our life, it pushes us to evolve and become a better version of ourselves. The trauma of her losing her best friend Bremner motivated her to put in the effort and take action. And I just wanted to teach kids new lessons of life, that it's okay. Nothing is perfect in life, and you have to embrace the imperfect. And that it's important to work in teams, and it's okay to make mistakes because that's how you learn and that you grow, and that success does not need to be perfect.
So how long would you say from the initial concept to being published was this whole process for this book?
This book took us 1.5 years in the making. The illustration took a lot of time. I worked with an amazing illustrator. Her name is Natalia Mazipa. She is so good at what she does. She portrays emotions really well on each character. She took the time to develop the characters with me before developing the scene. And her architecture work and drawings within the book is phenomenal. She's going to go very, very far. I really believe that. And I think that the kids are going to relate to the characters and feel attached to them. I'm very proud of the work we've done. And I can't wait to hear more feedback from people.
So if you happen to be in LA, like you said, on the 29th, feel free to go see her at the Barnes & Noble. We'll have a link to that. But if not, we'll also have an Amazon link to the book as well. But I want to get into a few other things with you while I have some time with you, if we can do so. Christine is multifaceted and multicultured, I would say, with her background and everything else, which I find unique, which is cool, because you were born in Egypt, raised in Montreal, and you spend a lot of time traveling and educating yourself besides the writing, the acting, everything else that you've done. So how are things for you right now? Because obviously the world the past few years has seemed a little wonky. Obviously, like I said, you're born in Egypt from the age of 7 or so, from what I read, raised in Montreal, which would that make you, how's that described? French Canadian? How would you describe your background being so many different layers?
Oh my gosh. Egyptian Canadian, I can also say African, Egyptian, Canadian because Egypt is in Africa. And I was fortunate enough to, after theater school, to be able to go back to Egypt and work with other Egyptians in the movie industry. And it was challenging, to tell you the truth, Jonathan, because I didn't know how to read and write in Arabic. I didn't know how to speak the language properly. I had an accent in my Arabic, but because I'm an actor, I really relied on my skills and I wanted to learn. And that opened up the door for me. I did a lot of wonderful works in Egypt that went to different film festivals. I met great people and I learned a lot. I grew a lot and it was a wonderful experience.
Well, is that what the main language is in Egypt, Arabic?
Yes, it's been Arabic for a long time. Before Arabic, it was the Coptic language. And then before the Coptic, it was the Pharaoh language. So it changed, yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with the Pharaoh language, obviously, a little bit being a history guy. But so with that being said,
which is more called like ancient Egyptian language, I would say.
Yeah, but with that being said, you mentioned there that you didn't know how to read and write in Arabic. But so what was the first language you really learned? Well, obviously you knew how to read and write it by 7 years old, but most kids do. But what did you start learning first? And obviously I know you picked up French living in Montreal in because that's a dominant language French Canadians speak, or French is the norm in that part of the country. So I know you're multilingual and all at this point, but so what did you start with as far as your education is concerned?
I'm glad you asked that question. Nobody really asked me this question. It's a really good question. I actually started in French, actually. And then they transferred me into English school and then back to French. So it was always French and English. And then when we moved to Montreal, obviously it was French. And then during theater school in college, I started to study in English. And I started also taking Hindi classes for about a year because I was fascinated by the language. I kind of lost it now because I don't practice enough, but I definitely need to go back into it again because it's such a beautiful language. So right now I speak 3 languages.
Shouldn't that be the French, English, and Arabic?
Yes. And I understand different dialects in Arabic because Arabic has different dialects depending where you are. So you have the Egyptian dialect and you have the Lebanese dialect, you have the Syrian dialect, you have Palestinian dialect, Saudi Arabian dialect. The list goes on.
Yeah, it's like Spanish. There's so many different, you have the Mexican Spanish, you have the Puerto Rican Spanish, you have Spain Spanish, and it's the same thing. You have different dialects and different, versions of it, but it's all within the same, concept. What would you say your, being on that note, is your, do you have a favorite you like to speak and work in, or is it, I'm good with either of the 3, whatever I'm doing?
Honestly, like in Montreal, in the West Island, it's really funny because we speak both at the same time. Like I'd be at the cashier and the cashier person would tell me like something, a sentence, and she would mix English and French. And it's something that, we have here in Montreal. And when I do speak to my parents, I speak all 3 of them, all 3 languages at the same time. It's very funny. But yeah, I think we're just used to it like that.
It's funny because, I have a Jewish background and such, and there is a little thing called Yiddish, besides actual Hebrew. And it's funny, my niece or nephew are here today, and there's times we'll throw in tukas, or we'll throw in, different certain things, because Yiddish is a dying language because it's not taught as much. And, it's just one of those things that's not going around.
That's really unfortunate, though. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's one of those things that but that a lot of people use some of the terminology, like tukas and, just different things along the way that's become, I guess, a pop culture, I guess is the best way to say it, certain terms and whatnot. And I find myself out mixing, and the kids will look at me like, what did you say there? Oh, I meant, because they're 4 and 6.
Oh, okay.
What did you mean by Then you had to explain.
Yeah, so you can relate to what I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and I'm learning a few other things like some Spanish and different things. That's like, or in Japanese, it's like, what did you say? Because it'll just be like, oh, coño, or yeah, whatever. I'm like, would you? Don't listen to me. Don't repeat that. You have to explain that it means this, but don't say it. Do as I say, not as I do. But with the constant learning process that you've had, from what I understand it, or I would think, and we've only spoken a little bit and exchanged a couple emails and such, but using and having a constant learning process, would you say it has given you a chance to discover new facets of different things, whether it be language, history, culture, psychology, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I love about the work that I do, because I'm constantly learning, and it has opened up my mind, and it's wonderful. You use all the tools and everything that you've learned and everything that I do, basically. And that's the fun part about acting, is that you're constantly learning. I feel like when you stop learning, that's when you kind of feel like you've died inside. I think in life, we have to continue to work and to achieve and to continue learning. It's important.
Obviously, with the acting resume so far, I know you've done some things on stage. You've done voiceover work for video games, cartoons, different things like that. Obviously, film work and TV, but is there a particular medium you enjoy doing currently, or is it, hey, a job's a job, is a job, and yada yada?
I love everything, Jonathan. Like, it's so hard to pinpoint on just one particular thing. I enjoy everything and I audition for everything. I did meet a lot of actors when I was in Los Angeles, and I'm currently in Montreal at the moment, and I'm going to Los Angeles. When I was in LA, because I live in both cities, LA and Montreal, I see a lot of actors not being open to that. They're very particular, and they just concentrate either in commercials or film, but they don't audition for theater that much. And I was actually really surprised. And there's a lot of work in theater in Los Angeles. And I think work is work. It doesn't matter what it is. I think it's important to be open to opportunities, because it's going to help you grow. It's going to, your name's going to be, going around, and you might catch someone's attention and they might hire you for their project. So when I see actors like that, and when they ask me like, hey, has it been busy for you? I'm like, yeah, of course it has. And they kind of wonder, like, really? Like, for me, it's kind of slow. And I'm like, really, what have you been auditioning for? And I would say, like, I'm auditioning for this and that. And they'll be like, oh no, I just auditioned for commercials and TV and film. And I'm like, oh, okay. Some people audition for voiceover. Some people just specializes in video games voiceover. And I just honestly love everything, and I'm open to everything. I don't like to limit myself.
Well, speaking of that, with the voiceover work for video games and such, there is a horror actress that become friendly with, and she does a lot of that. That's been a majority of her, that's just kind of the direction she's gone with her career. I think you would get along well and be able to exchange notes and stuff. Something just says, I don't know what it is, that you guys would mesh well together. So I'm going to mention it to her. And
yeah, absolutely. I would love to meet her. Is she based in the States or in Canada?
LA.
Okay, perfect.
So, and since you go back and forth, I will definitely shoot her a text as soon as we're done here. But on that front, with the acting and voiceover and all that, what's next for you? Obviously, you're going back out west to promote the book and all that fun stuff. But what are you looking forward to?
I'm actually working with a producer. As an associate producer, I'm working on different projects. I'm really excited because I've never been an associate producer before, and lots of interesting projects that I can't really talk about right now because we're still in the development stage. But I'm also going to be offering an online course for actors and individuals who are interested in applying for an O1 visa in the US or an EB1A visa, which is the extraordinary green card. I've been through them 3 times because I've applied for my O1 visa twice and for my green card once. And I know how this process works, and it could be very overwhelming and challenging. So I wanted to teach people on how to do it, on how to find sponsorship, how to put your package together, how to write reference letters, how to get deal memos, like just everything from beginning to end. So they're well prepared and their money doesn't go to waste because it's a very expensive process. And I've opened my own acting career consultancy back in 2010. And I'm offering this class through my consultancy. They can find all the information on my website as well, christinesolomon.com/classes. And they can join the mailing list so they can stay up to date on when this course is made available. Right now, we're in post-production for the course, but we're hoping to release it this year, because that's what I'm working on. I'm also working on my skincare line. I've been working on it for the past 4 years, Jonathan. It's a long process because I'm new to the beauty industry. I know everything about to do with entertainment because I've been doing it for such a long time. But the beauty industry, it's a whole new world, and it's very exciting because I love learning new things. And basically what I'm at a stage now where I have all my products ready. There are just a few other things that are missing that I'm working on. And I'm hoping I can release my skincare line next year.
And there you go. I'm going to have to connect you with a second person who is an actress and does skincare and has been doing it for years.
My God. Wow.
She's based out of Florida. So
that's amazing.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much. I would love to meet her and talk to her about everything skincare. I'm such a beauty junkie and I love skincare, and I get stopped all the time, Jonathan. People ask me, what do I put on my skin? And it's always so tricky for me to say because in back in the day, I didn't know what to say. I mixed ingredients together and I put it on my face. I used to promote other people's products, which I enjoy using from time to time. But what I've been consistent with was my skincare line. And then it came to me. I was like, why don't I just make it available for people? Because some people may have the same skin type as me. I have rosacea, which is a skin condition. And maybe it can help somebody out there. And I figured, why not? And that's what I've been working on.
Yeah. And, I'm not one for beauty, obviously. Only audio is used here, but.
No, but the skincare will be for men and women. So I will send you some samples when it's ready.
Yeah. But what I was going to say with that is you kind of hinted at that in terms of what might work for Christine is not going to work for me or work for a Denise or, because like you said, everybody's got different skin tones or skin kinds, or some might have conditions like rosacea and, not the same thing. It's like medicine, I would say, in terms of you and me could have the same medical condition, but medicine that would work for me might not work for you, whether it be the dosage and, so you got to find what works for you.
Yeah. Absolutely, because there's no one product on earth that works for everybody. It's impossible. So I have very sensitive skin, so I'm hoping it can work on the majority of people, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I have very high hopes on it because it's a very clean products, and there's no preservatives in any of them. And I very carefully selected the ingredients from suppliers around the world, top of the line suppliers. They're very expensive ingredients because I just want to put things that I enjoy putting on my skin. I don't want to put anything that's going to be harmful on my skin. So I carefully chose the ingredients to make sure that I benefit from it, and at the same time, people also can benefit from it.
Now, I'm not sure people would think about this as much with skincare. And this is coming from somebody who, like I said, don't mess around with that kind of thing too much. But would you say even include, obviously people think about the face, when you put up makeup and different things, or, the cleansers or whatever the case is. But would you say you include different things like, say, deodorant and, just like what you use for or sun lotion or, just different things as far as your whole skin pack. It's not just this part.
I did develop an oil for the body, and I would love to eventually develop a sunscreen. But with sunscreens, they take a long time because these are FDA regulated and they're considered drugs. So you have to really, it's a whole process, and it's a very expensive process. So I want to make sure when I'm at that level that I'm ready for it.
Yeah. So the book, which I want to mention again as we close out, is Wishing Upon a New Moon. You are doing the Barnes & Noble, but obviously it's on Amazon, all that fun stuff. But curious to know, if people can't make the LA event, is there a way of getting signed copies like through your website that you mentioned earlier and such, or is that a whole...
That's actually a really good idea, Jonathan. I didn't think of it that way. I think they would have to send me an email, and then I would probably, because you can't really buy anything on my website, but they can send me the book they purchased, and then I can sign it and mail it back to them. That I would be very open to doing.
There you go. So, but maybe we could set up a purchase part too on a website. See, we're making money here.
Yes, that's a wonderful idea. You're full of creativity. I love that.
I try to think outside the box a little bit.
Oh, I love that.
Safe travels from Montreal to LA. Christine Solomon, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything, and thank you for having me on your show.
Hey there, Friday fans. We know how much you enjoy the movies. Enjoy grabbing your Friday merchandise and interacting with the Friday family, whether it be at conventions or during our particular watch-alongs. Well, when you're looking to get yourself masks, why not check out our friends over at Camp Blood Customs out of New York State and order your specific custom mask from any of the films. All orders are made specifically. Your needs and wants are. Make sure you find Camp Blood Customs on Facebook, Instagram, and all over social media and order yours today.
Hi, this is Anthony DeLongis, and you're listening to Crazy Train Radio.